Well, let's face it, it's been a while now since we have had this feeling of the sky is falling, the world is ending, hell is opening up, and all of the devils are coming out of the ground. I will be along with Ryan. I've got a dog barking in the background. We're going to try to make sense of what we heard. Let's get to it. How's it? Welcome into an emergency press conference edition of the Loose Cannons. I am waiting to be joined by the OG Ryan, who will be with me any moment now. But we are trying to going to try to make sense of what we saw today. And as I said, it's been a while since we have had this feeling, right? Not a good feeling. Things did not go our way today. And we'll start here. Let's give credit where it's due to Aston Villa because they came out like a team that had something to play for today. They didn't just sit back. They didn't sit in a low block. They didn't try to just defend their asses off. They came to play. Unai Emery had them up for it, as much as we may not want to admit that. But they looked like a team that wanted Champions League football a lot more than Arsenal wanted to win a Premier League title. And that's unfortunate. I am not really sure why, because it was all up to us today after Crystal Palace gifted us a victory over Liverpool. It's really hard to accept a performance like this. And the thing is, in the first half, I really thought that I thought it was going to be a good match. I really thought that both teams were showing something. We seemed to be on the pace. We were in the game. We were on it. Martin Odegaard, I'll tell you what, first half, I thought was one of his best performances of the year. And then somehow, some way, it fell apart. I was skeptical of the lineup when I saw it. I don't like the idea anymore of Kai Havertz playing in the midfield. We saw this early in the season prior to the Dubai trip, through the holidays, the festive fixtures. And it just doesn't work. And considering how well he has played up top, how do you take him away from that? And we talk about rotation and substitutes a lot on this program. And I was okay with it because I'm like, okay, we're rotating. It's, we're hopefully putting out a strong side, but we're going to put out a strong side on Wednesday as well. And I think ultimately it was just too much. And moving Kai back to the 8, I'm going to start there. And it's not Kai's fault. I'm not blaming him. We're not going to go back to the days of blame Kai Havertz for everything because he's not doing what is being asked of him in a role that he's never really played before, or a style that he's never really played before. It's not down to him now. This is on. It's a little bit on Mikel Arteta. I mean, it has to be on him to a degree because he He sets the lineup. He sets the tactics, and he missed the mark today with this lineup. There are, in the last two games now, there are some very, I'll say, worrying trends. As well as we defended for the first 3 months of this calendar year, there are some chinks in the armor now. And, I saw a lot of on social media, a lot of people reacting, well, it's April, and this is what Mikel Arteta is going to do now. This is what this team is going to do. They fall off starting in April. And I saw a thing today going back the last 3 years. In April, we have lost 3 consecutive matches in the month of April for the last 3 years. So is this the beginning of a drop off? I hope not. But boy, oh boy, it doesn't get any easier, from here. It just. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay, I think I'm back. There we go. Technical issues. It's been a day, folks. It's been a day. Yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of hard to make sense of this, because the first half we were on it in the first half, really, I thought. And it really begs the question, what on earth happened at halftime? Did we take a nap at halftime to come out looking the way we looked in that moment, or in the second half? It just wow. A second half that a performance in the second half that we have not seen for some time. I would almost go back to Fulham match at Craven Cottage the last time I think we really, really looked off the pace. I said that we looked like we were about a step slow on Wednesday against Bayern. And I think today we really looked 4 or 5 steps too slow in the second half today. Just ultimately not good enough. And like I said, you saw a team in Aston Villa that seemed to want their spot in the Champions League more than we wanted a Premier League trophy, and that's pretty concerning. I'm going to bring in my good friend Ryan. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
What's up?
What's going on?
Nothing. Apparently, my camera is frozen.
Oof.
Thank God for that. Probably.
Talking to.
You all right?
No, yeah, I'm just I don't know. I didn't know what to say. I was just oof. Your camera's frozen. It's a shame.
Yeah. Nah, not really. Nobody needs to see me. Just let me know if for some reason I cut out, because apparently I lost sound too. So I don't know. This is what you get when you have a computer that's like 12 years old. So I guess, what's your take? on today?
I don't know. Like, it sucks. We were due. This was always gonna be a tough game, a game in between two ties with Bayern. And it happens to be our kryptonite team. It happens to be Villa, who have given us problems in the past. So this game was always going to be an issue. So, and it's not just you, but like everyone. There's a lot of people that I know that I talk to. They're about to, and I'm not saying you're like this. I feel like you're kind of close. That are like ready to jump off the bridge. Title race over. We're done. Packing in. End of season. Like everything's over. Like that's just not how I'm wired.
I think for me, it's not. Let me clarify, because for me, and I am sticking to my guns on this. I think the title race is over. I do not think the title race is over because of us. I think the title race is over because City. I just don't know where they're going to drop points, and I just feel like this was, for them and their mentality, they've done this this is 3 years in a row now that they have done this, where they just kind of like lie in wait. You know what I mean? And they're there, they're hanging around, they're in the conversation, and they just wait for whoever is at the top or whoever is in competition with them to win the league. They slip up, City kick the door in and say, that's it. It's ours now. This is done. And I just feel like that with this team, that team, I should say. I just don't know. I mean, look, they're off this next weekend. They have, well, they're not off, but they're off from the league. They have their FA Cup semifinal. They come back with a match at Brighton. Not an easy place to go, and they're not a terrible side. They go to Fulham, I believe. I believe they still go to the Scumbags.
Yep.
On the other side of North London. So it's not that they can't. I just don't think they will. And like I said, it's not so much a knock on us as it is, as much as I hate to do it, praising their mentality and their abilities. And I just don't think I just think now they smell blood in the water with both us and Liverpool losing today. And I think this now is them just kicking the door down and rushing through to go get the trophy. That's why I think the title race is over. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. I like I said, I said this before. It's not over. It's not mathematically over.
Definitely not. Definitely.
Yeah,
and let me.
I don't know. I don't want to. And I know you don't know it's over, but like when people say it's over, it's like it's all it takes is them to lose one game, and like, are they going to do it? They did it last year.
Not even. They don't even need to
year.
lose. Even if they just draw
and we win,
and we as long as we keep the goal difference, I'll say one last thing, and then I'll shut up and I'll let you go. And I'm actually going to jump out and jump back in and try to restart my camera, but I am not going to hope that they drop points somewhere. I'm going to wish for them to drop points somewhere, because it's the hope that kills you. I'm going to try to reboot my camera, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely on the more relaxed side of things. I've noticed that in talking to everybody. And I think that's the thing too, is I think, City have done this before. They've won out. They won the last 14 games last season and kind of beat us pretty badly. I think we lost the title by about 8 points. I don't know. I just think that there is things that can happen. I think that was quick. I mean, it's not over. And and also I guess the caveat too is my eggs are all in the Champions League basket, which is stupid. I want to win both, obviously, but to me, and I said this to you, and I didn't think I was going to say this out loud to anybody else other than you. I'm not the City. Another thing I really like if we win on Wednesday and we go to the semis in the Champions League, but if we go to the semis against City or Real Madrid, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to beat them and get to the final and win the Champions League. But if we win and make it to the semis of the Champions League, I honestly don't even care about this Villa game. And it's a shitty thing to say because it really puts us in a hole. And I don't know. It's not over, and I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe come when City clinch the title and we're officially out of the Premier League race, City have won the title. I'll think differently about what I'm saying right now about this Villa game. But I mean,
well,
I also just see City as I think it's also, I want to be on City's level. I want to be better than City. And whereas if we play them, we might beat them. But I just think in the grand scheme of things, they have so much depth. They have so much talent. Where they may have a crack in one area, they cover it up with another strength of theirs. They're just a very tough team, and it sucks, and I don't want to bring this up, but when you break a lot of rules and you just throw money into problem and you don't get in trouble for it and you just keep spending and become this powerhouse, it's just as far as we've came and as good as we are, and we've beaten City. So, we've beaten City twice this season, and I hope to beat them again in the Champions League. But I just see them I'll always see them as Goliath and will always be David, and I just feel like no matter what, it's always going to be an uphill battle for us. We have to do things differently as a club. We can't just throw money at the problem. We just can't break rules. With the FFP, it's tough. And I know that we're always up against it, even before the first game kicks off, week 1 of the Premier League season. I always think it's just an uphill battle. So, I guess when this happens, I'm kind of just okay, and it sucks to say. It sucks to be kind of we gave it a good run. But on the other side of the coin, I do believe this team. I think we're a very, very good team. I just think that there's so much shit against us in the Premier League that it's just kind of I don't take this as serious as I guess as other people, and I don't know why. I don't. That's just how I feel. It's just how I am. I wish I could. I did today, even when the game ended. I questioned myself. I'm am I a real fan? I really wasn't as upset as a lot of people that I speak to, a lot of people that I agree with. I'm am I just not as big of a fan as I thought I was? Do I not care about this team? I still don't know. I'm still kind of battling with that question. But I mean, I'm still gonna have hope. That's just how I'm wired. I'm still gonna have hope, and how the good, one of my favorite sayings goes. It's the hope that kills you.
I mean, I think for me, it's more how we played in the second half. I can tolerate and accept losing. We're not going to win every game. That's just a fact. It's the way that we lost, and there are just so many questions because again, the first half was not bad at all. The first half was very enjoyable. And I think if you're a neutral watching that first half, that's what you want to see. You just want to see the ball get put in the net, once or twice. You don't want to see Trossard, tap it right into Emi Martinez, and you don't want to see. I don't. Was it Tielemans that hit the woodwork in the first half, and then I think it was Watkins.
No, he did it in the second half.
So Watkins hit it.
Watkins the first half. Tielemans the second.
So you as a neutral, you want to see those balls go in the net. But it was an entertaining first half, and I thought both teams were going at it. We're going for it. I don't know. So it's hard then to say the first half we looked good. I said before you got here, I don't know if you heard it, that the first half I thought was one of Martin Odegaard's better 45 minutes of football that I've seen this season, and he's had a lot.
Yep.
That's
He was easily the best player on the pitch until he went off.
By far. And I even remember saying to myself, we win this game, he's man of the match. Right now, he's man of the match if we can somehow, if we win this game. Even if it's a draw, if it's a draw, it might have to, revisit that, but which is a moot point. But it's so how do we reconcile? I don't know how you felt about the lineup. I'm questioning Jesus being in there and moving Kai back. And we talked about it Wednesday. There are, you famously say, and I quote you all the time, horses for courses. And at this point now, I think Gabriel Jesus is just the horse for the Champions League course. He plays so well in that competition, and he was garbage today. He was hot garbage today. Slow.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think he was great. I don't know if I would go as far as saying hot garbage, but yeah, he wasn't great.
That's probably harsh, and I understand that. But so I was not. What we talked, we were talking before the match about Zinchenko, and it's like if he's starting, that has to mean, and I don't want to look ahead, but the comment was that it kind of has to mean that he's not going to start against Bayern. But I don't want to, this is not a blaming of Zinchenko for today. It is not his fault completely. It's not anybody's fault completely. You win as a team, you lose. I mean, obviously, unless he puts the ball in his own net twice.
Yeah.
Then, but he did not play well. He had a good first half. He had a solid first half. Solid. I'm not even going to say good. I'm going to say solid. Second half, he was way off, but everybody was. So everybody being way off makes him look that much worse, in my opinion. He had a few nice passes. Defensively, he was atrocious. Defensively, and this is everything that you and I and Ryan and Glenn, everything we talk about with Zinchenko was on full display today. All of the points that you make that are positive about him were on display. And every point that I make negatively about him was on display. As good as he is in possession, he's equally as bad out of it. He doesn't win the ball. Just like he
did what. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
You've said that he and Jorginho basically are the same player that can't play together. And you are so right with that. Your whole thing with Jorginho is he's not athletic enough. He gets if he tries to put in a tackle and he misses, he can't recover. I saw it 3 times easily today with Zinchenko. He tries to stick a foot in, he gets blown by, and he can't recover. So, like I said, two things can both be true at the same time and yet be kind of opposite one another. At the end of the day, he's good in possession. He's good with the ball at his foot. He is slow. And today, he really slowed things down today. Like, really slowed things down to me, in my opinion, in both halves. And that just kills us. The goal, when you look back at the games, we're scoring 5 and 6. We're moving, and we're moving with pace. The ball is constantly going forward. He really, really, really slows us down in possession. So anyway,
I don't really disagree.
I mean, I'm going to look at some comments here and try to. Thanks for sharing it to your WhatsApp group, by the way. Thank you for that.
I don't really disagree. The thing I disagree probably the most of what you said is I don't think he's equally as bad defensively. Is he good defensively? No, I've never said that. Never will say that. He's not good defensively, but he did make a couple interceptions. He did make a couple good defensive plays. Now, did he make a few defensive errors? Yeah, no, he made a few. His positioning wasn't great, and I don't know. I sent the picture thing I sent you, the 3 Arsenal players trying to hold a high line. He's all the way back keeping Leon Bailey on side. It's tough, and I still don't really know how to feel about it, because at first I was like, well, people bitch about him because he's up too far and he's not defending, and then when he's defending, oh, he's defending too far back, he needs to be pushed up. So it's like, well, you can't. Sometimes you just can't have your cake and eat it too. And Zinchenko has limitations, 100%. I'm not saying he doesn't, but like, I don't know. I just think the 8 games in April. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He has limitations, and I said this. I like Zinchenko for what he does for Arteta's system and for what he does for our attack. But I do believe we need there's a lot of players, and people don't want to hear that, but there are a lot of players on the squad that that start games, that if we want to have more of a say on who wins the Premier League and who wins Champions League, as big of a say as like a City, I think there's players we need to upgrade on, and Zinchenko is 100% one of them. Now, do we sell him? I don't know. It depends what that's a whole nother slippery slope, because I don't know how much we're gonna get for him, and he does offer such a uniqueness to this system and to what gives managers headaches in prepping for us. But no, I do think he does a lot of basic things wrong, and there are a lot of times where we're going to come up against bigger teams that want to fight with us and have the ball with us. He can't really play, because it's going to be tough. When I felt like we had a great first half, I think we just couldn't finish our dinner. I think it was BX that said it earlier. I don't agree with us. I kind of got to go back, BX. I'm sorry, but he said something about how we play with our food and fail to take chances. I don't agree with that. I think we took chances. We tried to go at them. We shot a lot. They blocked quite a few bit of shots. Emmy made 1-2 very good saves. The kick save from Chassard, it's a great. Can Chassard put it in a different spot? Yeah, probably, but he still made a hell of a save. And it was a good save if I'm giving him credit for it, because I hate him. I think he's the worst. But I don't know. I just think we couldn't find the back of the net, which, we have players that have nagging injuries: Ben White, Saka, Jesus. And I think it's tough because those three, I would say focus on Ben White and Saka. Those are two players that are like the first two names on the team sheet. They're playing every game. They're in every game if they're healthy. And this is where I think we start to struggle, because they're not always going to be healthy. Yeah, I can. Tanner, you're good. They tend to. I'm going to talk real quick. You say something, and then I'll take over. But it's tough when they have nagging injuries. They're not going to give you 100% of the time, and we have no depth. We have no backup for them. Backup is Reece Nelson, or you could switch. We brought Tomiyasu on, which Tomiyasu, to be fair, Tomiyasu was always Ben White's backup. But like now with the Kivior Zinchenko thing, it muddies the waters, and like with Timber hurt, it again muddies the waters. And whereas I think we have a lot of depth, it's such a. I think I could probably, and Stan is someone. Stan, the man who tweeted about this, talking how horrible our depth is. We need depth, and we shouldn't have third string players playing second string. And I don't agree with that, but in the same respect, there is a depth problem, and I think it's a conversation that can probably be. I could probably have a conversation about depth for hours and hours and bore people to death, because it's such an interesting thing. Whereas I think we have depth, but like, in the positions that matter most, we don't have the correct depth. And like in playing with a system that is not catered to every player, depth is always going to be a hard thing for us to change. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm losing track because I'm reading all these comments, but yeah, go for it. Give me something to talk about and occupy the viewers while you.
I keep coming back to the first half was not The first half was good. I'm not going to say it was great. First half was good. So it can't be.
I would say, you know what? I'll go as far as I will say we had. I mean, it's hard to say you had a great first half if you don't score a goal. But like, besides scoring a goal, I don't think there was anything we did. Like, we played as good. Like, for not scoring any goals, I think we were fantastic. And that's the thing, though. When you're a better team, you always want to have one in the net, especially in the first half. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because I thought we were phenomenal, but like, how could you say we were phenomenal when we don't put a goal in? Like, yeah, you're right. I can't say that.
Real quick to Lone Star's comment here. Second best today deserved nothing. Second half, yes. First half, no. I think first half was even.
No,
and the score.
I don't even say even. We were better in the first half.
No? We were better than them, but I think you have
to hit the post,
because they had chances in the first half themselves, which is why I'm saying I think the first half was pretty much played on even terms, and the score at halftime reflected that. I hope nobody minds my hair that are actually watching us. I've had a hat on all day. But anyway,
yeah,
right.
I can't wait for the comments to light up. Oh my god, terrible hair! Get a haircut.
But yeah, City have the easier run in, probably won't fail. But, and I like this, and it's kind of, I mentioned earlier when you got here, Brian, that they're off next weekend from the Premier League. They have Chelsea in the FA Cup semifinal. So the pressure is on. And if we win, if we beat Wolves next weekend, not to look ahead, but it does put the pressure on them because we win. Now they're off, but they've got to go to Brighton and they've got to win to go back top again. So their destiny is in their own hands, which as any sports team, that's what you want. But it does put the pressure on. And Lone Star, I'm really glad that you said that because I'll be honest with you. I said earlier, I think the title race is done and dusted at this point, not because of us, but because of them. Keep the pressure on. Now, we've seen that they do not crumble under pressure. You do not become 3-time defending Premier League champs going for a fourth without being able to deal with the pressure of, having to go out and win a game to go back top of the league. So anything is possible. It certainly isn't impossible, but it's an uphill battle at this point. Second half, I think you have to give credit to Unai Emery and Villa. And they're good. They are a good, look, they're fourth in the league for crying out loud. They're a good team. Real quick, shout out to myself.
That's why I scoffed because I thought of you predicting them to be the top four.
I had them in fourth in our season prediction show. I just, I'm gonna pat myself on the back real quick.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of something to get you going on, but I want to be able to hear you so that I can jump back in when I have to run and feed the dogs. Mackenzie needs to get her insulin at 10 o'clock. So I am going to do that. Maybe talk a little bit about Kai Havertz, what you thought in the switch, the changing of roles for him, which I am not a fan of. That's one of those.
Interesting.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I don't think he was any different than he normally was, to be honest. He just didn't score. He had chances and they were blocked and then he made a save. But I think that's the issue. And you can go whenever.
All right. I'm gonna dip out. I'm gonna stop my mic and my
You're gonna hear me?
I should be able to hear you. Yes.
Okay. That's my issue with Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is, again, I'm curious, everybody in the chat, everybody that's listening. I'm curious, I guess my question to everybody in the chat is just give me the players that you think we need to upgrade on. Because I think it's a lot. And I think if I had a conversation, well, I'm going to have a conversation, with about it, I think there's more. It's a lot. It's going to scare people how many players I think we can upgrade on because we're very good, but To me, I'm not happy unless we're winning every game, right? Havertz is in that boat, and again, shout out to my Kai hating friend Connor. Useless, invisible. Yeah, he didn't have a great game. I think Kai makes a lot of smart runs off the ball, and that's kind of what he was brought in to do. And scoring goals is always going to make you visible. You're always going to be seen when you score goals. When you're running off the ball, sometimes you're not always seen to the trained eye, to a casual football fan. But I really didn't think Kai had a poor game. I just think, I think the pieces around him didn't fit. I don't know. Jesus wasn't at his best. He's slow, and he's been slow. And I think my issue with Jesus, another player who I think, needs to be upgraded on. Jesus needs to be. We're outgrowing him. I think we're outgrowing him. We're outgrowing Zinchenko. I think the reason they were brought in, a big reason they were in, is because they've been there. They've done that. They have the experience. Arteta kind of wanted to fasten the run to the top, or the movement to the top, and what better way to get guys that have won before and can do multiple things, can be nitty gritty in the trenches, working hard to get that ball, like Jesus or Zinchenko, who is, he's a left midfielder, but he gives teams problems because they don't know how to prepare for him, and especially when you're playing the left back and you're doing really good things with the ball, and when you play for a team like Arsenal, who have the best defense in the league and who are usually on the front foot, it's another thing for them to worry about. So yeah, I just think, I mean, I can go on. I can tell you, I can go on and on about more people that we need to upgrade on, but I'm going to focus on Jesus and Havertz more because that's what we were talking about. And Kelly, part of Not Another Arsenal podcast, which everyone needs to follow him. He's an awesome guy. He's oh, look at that, and I can hear myself echoing.
Can you really?
Your hair looks even worse. No, I don't.
Right.
I was kidding. Well, I did for a second. I didn't.
Fair warning, so I can hear you and you can hear me. But fair warning, you may also hear a dog barking as I prepare their meals.
So. That's fine. So yeah, and Lone Star has brought it up a couple times in chat. So because and Kelly was talking about how we just need someone that is cutthroat, a clinical striker, a killer. When you have everyone scoring goals and contributing, it's great, but you need an alpha. I do. I think if your team wants to win trophies and really cement yourself as being like a cut above Villa, a cut above Newcastle, and that's it. Like the teams we're having trouble with beating are the Newcastles, the Brightons, the Villas. It's those teams that are just a tier below us, but yet they're physical and they can score and they have those clinical strikers. They have those cutthroat guys. Ollie Watkins, Isak. Brighton have Matoma, but he's hurt. Evan Ferguson. They had Chassard. I don't know. I don't think Chassard's a killer, but I will. I think he was a killer for Brighton because I think they relied on him a lot. I think so, Tony. I think we can take. I would love Ollie Watkins. He is a boyhood Arsenal fan, and he loves scoring at the Emirates. So I would love to have Ollie Watkins, but we need an alpha, and it's tough because you need to keep that balance. And when you have an alpha, it kind of upsets the balance. You want to have the alpha, you want to have a cutthroat guy, but you want to keep the dressing room balanced. You want to keep Arteta and his system happy, because I do think Arteta's system is a big reason why we are where we are, especially without a clinical striker. So I don't know. I'm very curious to see how, obviously I don't expect to buy Haaland this summer. I don't. But I am curious to see how a Haaland type player can fit in this system. I think we need it, but I don't know if the system can support it. I really hope I'm wrong, because keeping this balance, keeping the equilibrium and the homeostasis of this club has been something that Arteta's been doing since he got in, and he's doing a phenomenal job of keeping it. Problem is, when things kind of get tough and no one wants to step up and be that leader. And I'm not talking about being captain, because I think Odegaard's doing that in spades. But to score goals, grab the game by the scruff of the neck, I don't see it. I don't see it here. I think Odegaard can only do so much, and I think Odegaard, as far as attacking wise, is a player that kind of fits those categories. But I personally don't think he can do it all. Um, I I don't know. I think a striker needs to be made an upgrade, an evolution to the strategy, an evolution to the system that Arteta has put in front of us because we need an alpha. We need a goal scorer. Um, I think that's something that will definitely always keep us in the game. Whereas today, I thought once Ben White and Odegaard came off, two staples, two guys that can lead, two guys that can take the game by the scruff of the neck. When they came off, we were, tactically we were in shambles. Structurally, we were in shambles. I mean, it showed as soon as they came off, and sure as shit they score. I don't know. I don't know who that player is yet. I really want this guy. I forgot Giris. I don't know. I don't want to butcher his name, so I won't say it. But I'll do Bane guy. But we need an alpha striker, and it's tough. It's tough to do what we're doing, but I think we're doing a really good job, and I am curious as to what we do in the summer because I guess my closing about this is I think there's players on the team that need upgrading, and we're outgrowing. Whereas I think the striker position is something that we need to. I think we need to upgrade at this position more or less than a player. Because I just don't. I don't think Jesus is it, and I think Jesus. This is his. He got to the hill, and I think this is his walk down. Having this knee issue that he got at the World Cup, I think is only going to get worse. He's not going to be able to play game in and game out. So yeah, I think we need to move on from him, and I don't think we need the type of player that he is. I think we can definitely upgrade on him, and get someone better.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh yeah, go.
If you think we need a new striker in the summer, which I don't disagree with, I like the system is designed to. We've said this before. The system is not tailored to one particular player, and I've said before also that I think when you look at what we do, what Pep and what City want to do, they're very similar, but we don't have that Holland type player. But even when City didn't have Holland, they had Jesus or they had Aguero. But it was more like what we are. And that player just doesn't, a Holland type player doesn't exist. There really is only one of him. And so my question to you is, since that player doesn't really exist, if we do go get a new striker, what then do we do with Havertz? Because I'm not sold on the idea of this playing the left 8 role. He has shown moments where it looks okay, but the goals aren't there if he's not up top. And to me, that I just you said earlier, like, he makes good runs off the ball and he's getting into good positions, but it's just not there. And I would much rather have him up top than have him in that left 8 role. So if you bring in a new striker, Gyökeres from Sporting, the Bane celebration guy, which he's my shout, if for no other reason than just that celebration. That's it.
Yeah.
But what do you do with Havertz? Because I think you need to try to find someone for that left 8 role, or you need to find someone to play the 6 behind Declan Rice. So, what are you looking for? What are you looking for there? What do you do with Havertz? Because like I said, I just don't think he's going. I don't think he's going to fill that role. He had an entire summer with us for the most part, and in the first half of the season playing that role, and it didn't work. I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Kai Havertz is definitely a player on my list. We need to upgrade on, and it sucks because we just brought him in, and to bring someone in, and we already need to upgrade him. Yeah, We do. I think he is someone that can change the game. He's clinical. He knows where to be. He knows where to make runs. Yeah, I guess it was funny before you talked about Declan moving to 8. I was going to ask you. My counter would be like, who's the better left 8? Because I think Kai is the best left 8 we have, except for Rice. And if we move Rice there, then we need a 6. We need to get a 6. And that's another position that we desperately need and I'm sorry I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm kind of jumping back, and you talked about the 11. I was not happy with the 11. Really wanted Tomiyasu to start because I think we need him against Bayern. I think he needs minutes. He needs fitness. I like that BX. I'm going to get to that. Kai off the bench. And Partey, I think I really do think Partey would have been great against this Villa team. And I think it would have been a good game from him. And he's another player that when we're in attack and we have the ball, he just offers up something different. He could dribble, he could pass. His shooting is not great, but I don't need him for the shooting. He opens up different outlets for us, which someone like a Jorginho doesn't do. And someone like a Declan who, and that's another thing too. I didn't like. I saw some of Declan's passing, and it was shocking. And you realize, like, this is why we have Jorginho. This is why we have Zinchenko. This is why we have Partey. And it'll come good. I'm not trying to poo-poo Rice. I think Rice is still our best player this season. But, I really do want Havertz off the bench. And I know no one likes that. No one likes him to come in as a 10. But we don't really have a 10. Who's our backup 10? Today it was Emile Smith-Rowe. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't know. He didn't really do anything. I mean, the game was like over when he came on anyway, but or it wasn't. I shouldn't say it wasn't. It was over, but it just he didn't really offer much. But he didn't really get the ball much. But yeah, I thank you, Lone Star. Me and Lone Star agreeing. We needed Partey today. I agree. I think Partey would have been immense. So for him not to play, he didn't even play. He didn't even come in as a sub, which I don't know. I'm very concerned on what our plan against Bayern is. I mean, it's just a lot of, and it's funny, right? Because Arteta is the kind of manager, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He tends to just play the same guys week in and week out. I still thought this game was going to be kind of like tip his hand as to who we were going to play. And playing Zinchenko. So it's funny. So Shannon said playing Zinchenko meant that Zinchenko wasn't going to play. I thought starting Zinchenko meant like he's definitely going to play against Bayern. This is kind of like his dress rehearsal. But I expected Zinchenko to come off. He didn't come off. He played a full 90. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what we do as far as the left back, the midfield, even up top, because I think Jesus would be perfect against Bayern, like the first 30 minutes. After that, I don't know. Again, though, these are just players that we need to upgrade on, and it sucks. And I don't know. I think I'm just convincing myself now. I've been kind of convincing myself. I just think we have so many players that we need to upgrade on that just aren't. To me, if we want to win Champions, if we want to win Premier League, these players can't start. I don't think Havertz. Do I think we could win the Premier League or Champions League with Havertz? I do. Starting, I do to an extent, but I just think there's a player out there that can be better. There's so many holes that Havertz has. There's so many holes Zinchenko has. There's so many holes Jesus has. And kind of going back to what I said earlier, how where City have holes and their strengths cover it. I don't agree. I don't think we have that. We don't. Where we have holes, we have holes. Like Zinchenko, I think Zinchenko would probably be a little bit the only exception where I think defensively he could be better. with his positioning and his movement and his tracking. I think we kind of cover that hole a little bit with our impeccable duo of Saliba and Big Gabby and Ben White to an extent too. But even still, I mean, you still see the weaknesses. I mean, and I wrote this in my notes. I didn't write many notes for this game, but one of the notes I wrote was, and I was kind of just doodling, and I wrote, I saw Leon Bailey getting ready to go. Oh, I thought Leon Bailey was hurt. So I was like, I thought if he didn't start, I was like, oh, he's hurt. And I knew Villa had a lot of injuries going into this game. I saw Leon Bailey getting ready, and I go, fuck. He scored against City. He scored against, I think he scored against Liverpool, but I know he scored one of the big goals against City that, was it last season or was it early on this season where they beat City? I don't know. But Leon Bailey I think he's a very underrated player because he should be starting week in, week out in Villa. When he came on, I was nervous.
There was I think I saw it on Instagram. You know what? It might have been AFTV that put it out there. They named Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey, Yuri Tielemans, and there was one other one. And I don't remember who the other one was, but they said, would any of these players fit at Arsenal? And it's funny because when I saw that, the first player I thought of was Leon Bailey. There's your cover for Bukayo Saka.
I mean, he plays like he's a Martinelli type player too.
Yeah.
So Leon Bailey would be immense. I've always liked Leon Bailey. I've watched him.
Yep. I'd bite your hand off.
Yeah, I've watched him play for Jamaica. I've seen him play, for Villa, obviously.
Where did he came from? Germany. Where was he?
He came from Leverkusen. Yeah, he did.
Huh.
Yeah.
Shout out Granit Xhaka.
Yeah. I'm not too happy. I thought Stuttgart were going to chase him down. No, I'm kidding. I mean, he's only 26 too, so like theoretically we could make a play for him. I don't know how much he would be, but yeah. So I was it McGinn maybe? Did they say it was?
No,
McGinn
it wasn't. No, because I when I was saying that I was like McGinn. No, it definitely wasn't.
Because to me, the only two players I would want from Villa would be Watkins and Bailey. Tielemans is okay. He's good at set pieces.
Tielemans would come into this team and most likely be a cup player. Like he would play in the early rounds of the FA Cup or the League Cup. I would say depending on the draw. But I don't. Who does he supplant?
He's probably the cover for. He's probably Havertz. I mean, he's probably the left 8.
I wouldn't hate it, but I don't know that he is better than anyone currently.
He offers, and to Tony's point, Tony said he'd rather get Yuri on a free than Kai. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like bringing money into it because I don't think that would have changed anything. I think Yuri offers a different skill set than Kai.
Yeah.
If you ask me in the summer who I'd rather have, I'd probably lean toward Kai. I think Kai is more of a goal scorer, and we need goals. We still need that alpha, but like when you're signing these players, I just think I mean, it's easy to say now, but I think Tielemans is good for a Newcastle, good for a Villa, good for a Brighton, a team that he's a midfielder that can do kind of a different set of skills, but I don't think he would play. I don't think he'd bode well for us or Man City or even like Liverpool. I don't know. I just think he's in that second tier of teams where I think he would work best at.
Lone Star does bring up a good point here. Don't tell me what to do. It's my show. It's a no nonsense show. I'm not going to take any crap from anybody. I grew up on the mean streets of Sydney, Australia. For those of you who have watched the Barry Gibb talk show on Saturday Night Live. Anyway, Jorginho or Partey, probably have to play at this point. I don't think it kind of goes back to the Kai thing because if one of those two play, it's going to move Rice into the left 8. So, yeah, I mean, neither of those two are going to play that left 8. Jorginho is not.
He's played there, Jorginho, and he wasn't terrible, but
here's the other part of this. Okay, so if we're going to look at things from a traditional sense, the traditional 6 is the ball-winning pendulum in front of the back 4, right? That's the traditional 6 role. The left 8 is not a traditional, like, it's not a traditional position, especially what we're trying to do. But now, even with a number 6, what we do with that player is not traditional at all. In all of this, my biggest question would be, A, is there a number 6 out there that is an upgrade on any one of Thomas Partey, Jorginho, or crazy talk? Hear me out.
Oh, I know you're gonna say.
Yeah, no, and it's not crazy talk. Or Zinchenko.
Oh, they're gonna sell Nenny.
Wow, no. I mean, well, we're talking about upgrading. He's going to retire, so we can't upgrade a retired player, can we? But Tony, to your point, this is what he does for Ukraine, for the national team. I just don't. Ryan,
I think he would be worse than Jordan. Like, it's funny, right? So I say that Zinchenko is
I know exactly
a little bit more athletic,
but
I think Zinchenko is Jorginho light. I think he's worse than Jorginho because I think
this is what I see. Okay, so Jorginho has the acumen up here. Okay, he's a very smart and cerebral.
I think Zinchenko, to be fair, is smart in his own right.
He is.
I think Jorginho is probably a little smarter.
Jorginho is very cerebral. He also has vision. I think his vision, he might have the best vision of anyone on the team. I'm gonna.
I don't know. Odegaard might have to have a word with you, but yeah, I mean it's close.
I think Jorginho can see. Odegaard, yes, and I'll give you this. I'd say it's a toss up between them. Here's where Zinchenko falls short. Neither are reliable defensively. That's a big thing because we rely so heavily on that, really the back 2, because even Ben White is getting so far forward. Zinchenko just can't pick out the passes, in my opinion, that Jorginho can do with any sort of consistency. The last thing I said there is the key to that, because he did pick out some fantastic passes in the first half today. What Zinchenko can do is Zinchenko, you know who he is? Do you know who he should be?
Who?
El Neni.
Wait, who should be El Neni?
Zinchenko. Zinchenko should be the guy to come in, as weird as this is going to sound, because of all of the shit I talk about him defensively.
I'm really curious.
Bring him in on 70 minutes with a 2 or 3 goal lead and just shut it down, because here's what he's going to do. He's going to slow everything down, and he's just going to kind of dictate from there, and everything is going to be very choreographed, as the real Ryan has said. But that's where he would excel, because that's what he does. That's his game. His game is the choreography. His game is the, whoa. Everybody just take a breath, calm down. Let's figure this out together. I'm just going to stand here with the ball under my foot. That's what Zinchenko does. That's what he's good at. There's that obviously a great deal of hyperbole there.
No, I agree. I think that when teams are down 1-0 or 2-0, with like 20 minutes left, they're going to throw everything at the kitchen sink. And I think they would, he would be overwhelmed and he wouldn't be able, you would then see even more so his offensive flaws, and it would be under a microscope, especially in the middle of the field.
But if we have possession, that's
I don't expect, but like if we're beating teams, if we're winning teams if we're winning,
that's where we,
I don't think you can't have possession. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't expect.
But think of it this way: it's the American football equivalent of just running the ball down someone's throat 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Do you know what I mean? Like just possess the ball, just play keep away. You get possession, get into their half, and now just play keep away. And I've always I get you want to go and you want to score goals, and I say all the time, it's not our job to stop scoring goals. It's our job to stop the other team from scoring goals. But it's our job to score goals in possession. However, you're up 3, 4, 5-0 at 70 minutes. You got 25 minutes, including added time. You got 25 minutes left to play. You don't need to continue to hold your foot on the gas and go after teams. So at that point, just play keep away. Hoof the ball around. And if you start to feel a little bit of pressure, the closer you get to their goal, back it out and reset it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Zinchenko is really good at, is just kind of deadening everything in possession. Your point is well received that, if a team is chasing a game, they're going to throw everything at us. As long as we have the ball, which he's very technically gifted on the ball, what are they going to do? They're going to get the ball from us. So hopefully,
I mean, we're never going to have, I guess my point then, we're never going to have the ball 100% of the time.
Right.
So I don't hate it. I'll be honest. I don't hate what you're saying, but I think at its best, it can work. But I think on average, or like at its worst, even I think he would be at fault for a lot of things. And I think he's just a player that has a certain skill set. On top of that, we brought him in because he's won the Premier League. He's won it. Has he won the Champions League? He's probably won the Champions League. And he brings that winning mentality. He brings that with Jesus, and it was great for the first year or two he was here. He helped develop the system and really frustrate the other teams. But now that, and it's going to sound mean, I don't really know how else to word this, but now that we're actually good, even take Arteta's system away, the 11 players on the pitch that play for Arsenal are actually good. We play as a team. We're a good team. It's like, okay, maybe dim down Zinchenko a little bit, dim down Jesus a little bit. We need to evolve past them. They got us to where we are, and that's great and it's awesome. And I thank them for it, but we need to take the next step. And I don't think Jesus and Zinchenko are the next step. I think maybe Zinchenko, even Jesus to an extent, but I think Zinchenko off the bench can maybe offer us something different. Maybe if we're down, we need goals. But
I mean, look at Tuesday. We talked about it after Tuesday, and I fully, as I said when we did the show Thursday or whatever, I threw my hands up and I said that's what we need from him, because the game changed. The game changed when he came on in the second half. We were better in the second half with him in there. Crazy enough as that is, but we were. And I guess when it comes to Zinchenko, my thing is this. And I was listening to Arsenal Fan Circle earlier today. And Stan brought up a really good question.
Oh, I forgot that was on today.
And the question that he asked is, and it's not necessarily, this is not necessarily directed at you as much as it's just me repeating the question, but if Zinchenko really is this good, why doesn't he play against the big teams? And today was not a game for him to play, in my opinion.
Well, he played when we played Liverpool,
and we saw what happened. He got torched by Salah.
Not the second game. No,
he played the first half. No, the second game he played the first half.
Well, I thought. I don't remember.
Nah,
the Salah goal I remember. We tied it 1-1. Yeah, I forgot. I have to watch the replay, but I remember saying to you when we got into a fight, I don't blame him for Salah's goal. But I don't really remember it.
I remember having I remember us debating it. I guess my thing, Gary, is he's not the primary controller of the ball in a situation like that. He can receive the ball and he can distribute the ball from that area and basically just play keep away. He can do that and he's good at it. But when we're in possession and trying to build attack and score a goal, I don't like him there. I really think he's a relief pitcher that you bring in the 6th or 7th inning when you couldn't get your starter that far, and you're just saying, I just need a few innings from you in a tied game or something like that. Like he's just a guy that I don't think he brings enough in attack. He brings possession, but he doesn't bring attack, and there's a big difference. I don't think he really adds much in the attack. He doesn't bring anything defensively. So the only thing to me that he really does is just kind of dictates where the ball goes and plays keep away real well. Now, to Gary's point, if he loses possession, okay,
that's why, I don't understand.
We're up shit creek. But I don't really see him lose possession that much. I don't see him get, spun on the ball and have it taken away. When he's on the ball, he makes a good pass. He makes a good, smart pass. That's what I would be asking of him to do. So if he's feeling pressure, turn, kick the ball back.
Lone Surrender, I believe you mean I believe that is a prostitute.
Yeah. The Bunny Ranch, I think, is still a thing.
Yeah, Lone Star. I don't know you that well. It might be out of your price range, the Bunny Ranch.
I can't agree with this more.
Yeah, and but again, why would you want to play him in the middle as our 6?
It's
I get what you're saying, but like, there's just two sides to every coin.
I see. I do see the contradiction.
No, it's not a contradiction.
What I'm kind of saying.
It's just, if we had the ball 100% of the time, sure. But like the other team, again, like this is something that you always say.
Well, hang on though, because wait. I'm not suggesting that he do this from a left back position. There's going to be
6.
Yeah. So you've got 4 behind him. You're not 3. So keep that in mind as well. And I just don't think he's going to get dispossessed in a very specific situation like what we're kind of talking about here. I don't know. The Zinchenko thing, I think we're going to beat it to death. We could keep going.
Yeah, we are. It sucks because I think my closing speech about Zinchenko, I think he's a great player. He offers a very, very, very unique set of skills that we could definitely use, and we've used, and it has helped us give teams headaches. But I think we're getting to the point where semifinals are looming for Champions League. Or we're in the quarterfinals, but semifinals could be looming for Champions League. We have, six Premier League games left? 6 Premier League games left, and we're in the title chase. Players like him, again, against the big teams, players like him, we need to upgrade on him. We need to upgrade on him. And and I just think decisions have to be made this summer. And it's, you can't sell the entire team this summer, but like there's just so many upgrades that I think we need in this team to sustain ourselves in the semifinals of the Champions League, to compete with Man City, with like 5 or 6 games left, I think it's going to be interesting to see what we do with Zinchenko in the summer.
I think to a degree, it's a bit folly to always look to upgrade on players. Like always, like find someone in the team that you said we can upgrade. It's going to be a thing that you can do pretty much every year.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, and you could always talk about upgrade. At the end of the day, you're just not going to get all of the best players. I mean, even City don't have. Oh, look, they don't have.
Well, so I think therein lies the thing. I think the difference. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's the best players. I'm just saying upgrade.
No. Right.
And yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't disagree. And yeah, I don't see. It's so funny because I think it's shocking how many players that I think we need to upgrade on. It's a lot, but in the same respect, like I don't think we're far away because I just think. I don't know. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry to you. I don't agree with this. If he had scored a goal from this left A position, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
But here's
I don't think he was bad today.
But
he didn't score.
He wasn't. He wasn't bad.
But everyone's saying he was bad as left A.
No.
He didn't do anything differently than he normally does.
This
it was just Jesus up in the middle of the field with him.
This is my problem with it.
Don't agree.
This is my problem with it.
Yeah.
I think there are better players. I think there were better players for this game that should have played and put instead of Jesus. That's my problem. I don't even have a problem necessarily.
Again, I think it comes down to we wanted to play Kai and Jesus to prepare them for Bayern on Wednesday. That's all I think it was. I don't think it was because I agree. I agree with you. I if we didn't have Bayern on Wednesday and we didn't need to get him, I mean, I don't know how. I'm not a professional football player, so maybe somebody else knows better than me. Probably knows better than me. But like, why does he need to play? Like, what's the so he's like in the flow? Like, I don't know. Well, just in general, like
or anybody.
Because a lot of times he's like Jesus is a horses for courses type player, and I think the reason he's playing today, he played today, was to kind of ease him into this Bayern fixture and not to throw him in cold turkey. And because I do think Jesus is going to play, he's going to start against Bayern, and part of me wants him to because he's good in Champions League.
I'm okay with it.
Kai has to play. Kai, I think, besides this game, obviously, because he was picking for this game, I think Kai's been playing great. What's his stat? He has 8, maybe 9 goal contributions in the last
in the
8
same
or 9
amount
games.
in the same amount of games.
So it's like
he's like third on the team now in goal contributions.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like
I think it's Saka, Odegaard, Havertz.
Yeah. But
right there, take those numbers and then apply them to what position was he playing? And that it's not that I don't want Kai in there, it's that I want him in there in that role. If you're going to play Jesus, put him on the left. Don't start Trossard, put him on the left. Throw Jorginho at the 6, put Declan Rice at the 8.
So that's another thing.
Go that way.
That's another thing. I was very confused with the Trossard start.
Because I will also say, and I'll also bet you a nickel here. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you.
No. That's all I was say. I just didn't understand.
I'll bet you a nickel that Jesus starts on the left against Bayern on Wednesday, excuse me. I bet you Kai plays up top. Jesus starts on the left.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I'm not sure because
how about a beer?
Because Martinelli didn't start today, and I'm feeling like he's going to start Martinelli, Havertz, Saka, Jorginho at the 6, Rice at the 8, Odegaard obviously, and then the left back I think is going to be Tomiyasu. And then unless somebody said Ben White came off because he was hurt. I've not heard Arteta's press conference. I've not heard anything. Ben White. That he was taken off.
I heard Odegaard's hurt. He might not.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that too.
I didn't hear Ben White. But I'm assuming. I mean, that when Tomiyasu came on, I'm like, okay, he's coming on for Zinchenko, and then he came on for White. I was like, oh. But again, like another it's just it's so funny because we sit here and we're always like being very critical of the team. We're always trying to be football manager and figure things out. When I just think at the end of the day, like I like doing it and I like having these discussions with the chat with you and everyone else. But I just think it's so hard, like just to maintain that homeostasis, to maintain the balance in this team, because there are certain players that I think they need to play day in, day out, or they kind of just get into a funk and they get rust quick and they need to play. Saka, one of those players. White, one of those players. And it's like, I get that. And I like it. And I would love to see Ben White start every game. I would love to see Saka. So if I'm playing a team on FIFA, or if I'm on Football Manager, I'm starting Saka and Ben White every game. I don't care. But like, they're players, they're human, they break down, they get hurt, they have niggles, and they both do. And to balance that, I don't know. I don't. What do you do there? Saka is a world-class player. It's not. You can't just be like, oh, we need a Saka replacement. We need someone that's like can play backup Saka. Little hard when he's star boy and he's our best player.
And it's this and the same. Look, at the end of the day, the same thing goes for Saliba and Gabriel at the back. They're top 5 in the world individually. They're the best center back pairing in the world. There's nobody that's going to come in and do the job that they do together. There's a chemistry there that just doesn't exist with anyone else in the team the way it does for them. And the same goes like Declan Rice. You're not going to bring in a like for like. Soccer, you're not going to bring in a like for like. It's just not going to happen because.
But even I guess I would say that even like a backup that could just like okay, yes, it's not Saka.
A reasonable facsimile is the phrase that I believe we're looking for with replacements for these players and backups and
Sure.
what have you. If you didn't see my private message, I will be right back. Take over. I will be right. It's about to storm here and the windows are down on my car. I'm going to put them up. I will be right back.
Yeah, that's fine. I wish I was in charge of like putting comments up, because I keep saying I'm going to do that. I never do it. And I got to do that with Tanner at a later date, because I want to I'm going to literally read your comments, because a lot of good stuff here. Let's see. I'm reading you, Gary. And you're just putting up comments. Okay, cool. Partey and Jorginho in the midfield is what we should have been used today, not Douglas Luiz. Yeah, I agree. No Douglas Luiz, we should take advantage that we didn't. And that's why, I don't know about Jorginho, but I think that's why I think Partey not starting made no sense. Partey with no Douglas Luiz would have been like insane. He would have pushed Odegaard up, and Odegaard was great, and he was pushed up. So like, I don't know how much that would have changed, but yeah, Partey to me, 100%. Martinelli will start Wednesday from Lone Star. Martinelli is like the weirdest thing. So he's been terrible the last couple of games. And I'm not saying it's not his fault at all. He definitely has blame, but I think the last 2 or 3 games we've seen Martinelli play, he is extremely isolated. He has no connectivity. There's no triangles, nothing going up his way, and he's slept on an island and he can't do anything. It's kind of hard to go 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 if you're Martinelli. It just is. He's been coming and tracking back a lot, which is great. But in tracking back a lot, his start point in having the ball and having us in possession is so far back that he has to do so much stuff in between. When he was at his peak, Martinelli, for us this season, early on in the season, it was when he was getting the ball in their third, right outside the 18. And he had it maybe past one defender, and he was on that touchline and hit a cross in or make a move. That's when he was best. And he's in like the middle third, and he's having to deal with a lot. And I think he's just put on an island, and I think that needs to change. And I don't know. I don't know how we could change that. It's gonna be interesting to see, because I think we are a better team with Martinelli in the team, but like I said, the last 2 or 3 games we've had him in the team, we have struggled. He has struggled, and based on the last few games he's played with us, I don't think he's in the recipe to beat Bayern. I want him to be. I think at his peak, he definitely is, but it's just going to be interesting to see what we do with that. Let's see, Lone Star. We cannot and will not win a football. We will not. Sorry, I can't read. We cannot and will not win football matches with Rice not alongside Partey and Jorginho. Reality. I don't know. I really think this left 8 thing is not as cut and dry as you guys make it out to be. I don't think Kai is bad. I'm gonna die on that hill, and I'm okay with that. I'm not saying Kai is the answer at left 8. He's not, but I don't think he's bad as you guys make him all out to be. I really like ESR to take that position as his own. I really would, but he's not getting enough minutes, so it's kind of hard, to do that. And I also don't think Jorginho and Partey are going to be at the club next season, or at least I don't think Jorginho will be as predominant as he has been with the club next season. Maybe I'm wrong because I think he's a good player. But basically, Arsenal didn't play style we used in Unbeaten Run. Gary, I'm sorry, I can't read. Kai at 9 and lost. Yeah, it's fair. No Kai at 9 and we lost. I just think it's not like Kai was in the striker position. Kai was occupying the same areas as he did when he was 9. He, and when he played 9, he played left 8. And that's the thing, too. I brought it up on multiple shows. If you look at the heat map, I forgot. I don't remember what game it was, but it's a couple games, back-to-back games. It was, I think, like 2 out of the first 3 games he started as R9. His heat map was in the left 8 position. So he's moving around all the time. So I don't really buy into that narrative about him, being a bad left 8 and we need him at 9. I think he plays both and he rotates around very well. Let's see. I heard something about cracking a beer open. Okay, yes, Lone Star. After the second goal, I cracked a beer open and snapped at my girlfriend. She laughed and left for the Madonna concert. I mean, really, you should be snapping at your girlfriend for going to the Madonna concert, not really for the Arsenal game. But that's for end of the show, Lone Star. Last season, pulled Chassard for Jesus. Remember results. Okay, fair. Stormy Willis from McDaniels. I will not answer that. Tanner can answer that when he gets back. Chassard helped save us from Villigul. City nowhere to be found. Listen. Okay. Wait. Which Villigul? Oh, okay. I need to talk about. Yeah. Okay. Again, the City thing is just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to go to Zinchenko anymore because it's like frustrating because I saw that too. I like the player. I do. I think the next time, I feel like the next time we have a show, I think I'm just like, instead of like my equivalent of talking about Zinchenko and like pleading the fifth, I'm just going to say like, we need to upgrade on him. Next, we need to upgrade on him. Like, even if he has a great game, cool. Like, he played great. We need to upgrade him. Next. Awesome, you're back. I was just reading comments, and I don't know if you heard me, but I need to. I don't know. I wonder if we both can put comments up at the same time for both on the show together. We'll
not
figure
at the
that
same
out.
not at the same time.
All right. I was like, it'd be cool if I could just put the comments up and not read them like a idiot. But
I keep meaning to. I thought I added you as an admin.
You did. I have to figure out on my end because I'm on my computer now, so I need to figure out how to figure that out on my end.
You can see. Okay, so you can see the comments on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, we're learning. Okay, yes.
Click on it. Just highlight it. Nothing.
No.
So I wonder. I may have to do something on my end. Cool. I may have to grant you permissions or something like that.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Also, I just because I don't know, I kind of want to change it up just a little bit. We talk about how I feel like there's always players constantly under the microscope, and Rice and Saliba can do no wrong. It's these players. I could not be more mad at Rice and Saliba for their first goal. Both just ball watching. Saliba thought the ball was going to get. I think Gabriel was marking somebody, and I think Saliba thought one of them was going to touch on it, so he didn't really make a move. And there's nobody back post. They're both just ball watching, and it's just like you turn off for a second, and that's what happens. And those are our 2 best players of the season, and they're the reason. Sugar cookies are overrated. I don't like sugar cookies. Sorry, BG. But they're the reason that goal went in. Very, very, very. I'm just the 2 best players on the squad that can do no wrong this season for the most part. I just at fault 100% for that first goal. It just it sucks. It sucks, and
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. It sucks.
this is this. Look, there's. I go back to the question. Let me ask you this: your opinion. Second half, is it adjustments that Villa made, or is it something that we did or didn't do?
It was both. It was. I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was Leon Bailey coming on, Odegaard and White going off. Now the Odegaard and White thing could be injuries. So like, I don't like. At first, I was like, "This is fucking stupid. This is horseshit. Sweating is horseshit. I'm going home." But then it's like, okay, injury potential and all that. Like, okay, fine. And Leon Bailey is again. Leon Bailey should be starting for them week in, week out. And when
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand.
Putting his shin guards on, I was like,
I mean, look, if he's not going to start for them week in, week out, let's throw out 40 to 45 mil and see if Villa bite on it and bring him in.
I mean, who knows? I don't know if he's coming back from an injury because they had players in their midfield and forward that I'd never heard of.
He played. I don't think he played against us in the first match.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember him playing, so he might have been. Anyway, I'm all for that. I am all for trying to see if there's a chance that Villa might bite on an offer, bring him in as cover for Saka. Why not? Let him play the cup games. Give him some Champions League minutes, and not have to play. And here's another thing that I tweeted out earlier today. Lone Star, we will be positive.
I was going to be positive when you were done. I actually had a positive comment to say when you were done.
Well, why don't go ahead with that? I'm going to write down my thought because I don't want to forget it. But I also tweeted it out earlier today. But
okay, my positive thought is I was very excited to see Itzar come on. Game was 0-0, and he came on in a meaningful game where he had to make meaningful. I mean, yeah, it was because of injury, but bring on Vieira. You could have moved a lot of things around, and the fact that he brought on ESR, I thought was awesome, and I'm excited because I really thought ESR was kind of drifting away from this team, and I thought ESR was really going to be sold this summer. But now that he's probably going to be cover for Odegaard, and he could potentially be covered for left 8, and he could do a lot of things in this midfield and potentially in the attack and up front. I was very happy with that, and I'm hoping he's used in a similar way, but it actually ends up working out for us, or maybe he scores a goal. Like that would have been nice. It just sucks that like when he came on, like he had to come off. Odegaard had to come off with White, because I think like if we'd brought an Odegaard off and then maybe White like later on, I think it would have been okay. But bringing off Odegaard and Rice, I thought was just disastrous for us. And if it's injury, there's nothing you could do about it, obviously. But I don't think we made the right. I don't know. I'm not arguing the personnel. I think tactically and positionally with the players still on the pitch, I don't think we made the right moves. I think we could have definitely been better. And then, you bring on Leon Bailey. That's an issue. And Leon Bailey is on Zinchenko's side, not Tomiyasu's side, because Tomiyasu came in at right back. So it's tough.
So one of the thing that I tweeted out earlier, sorry, Lone Star, I'm going to not be positive right now, but well,
I'm kidding.
Bukayo Saka playing another night, like he played 105 minutes today, for crying out loud. And he's going to be expected to do it again Wednesday night and then again Saturday afternoon. So it's like at some point back to the Leon Bailey thing, like we just can't keep expecting him, especially the way that he gets kicked game in and game out. Cannot keep expecting him to do the things he's doing. His career is going to be over before he's 28. He said he's not going to have anything left. it just that's another worrying thing to me. And to not like I'm at the bar watching the game, and it's well, who comes on, and it's like, just get him off. Get Reese Nelson in there or Fabio Vieira. Get someone else in there. I don't care if they're not good enough. They're on the bench, so they have to be good enough to get minutes. They have to be. It just, I hear this. They're not good enough. They're not, but they're getting a shirt. So go do your job. Next man up. And
they're not going to get better if they don't play.
And that's exactly it. And look at what Reese Nelson was able to do last season, right? So there's a player there in Reese Nelson, and he changes things because he's not Bukayo Saka, right? He has a very different style of play to him. He wants to go direct. Saka wants to put you on toast, right? But he doesn't get a minute. We're chasing the game, so Arteta doesn't trust him to go in and try to get a goal. But BX Gunner, yeah. I mean, Fabio Vieira can't get minutes to save his life here at this point. And I'm not saying that either of these players would have made a difference today. I do agree that I think the Odegaard and White thing. I do think there's something there. When they came off, things just kind of seemed to really. Villa were on the front foot the entire second half. From the first kick of the second half, they were on the front foot.
I kind of said it while the game was going on.
Well, but those two coming off, they were 2 feet in front of us at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I said something like I feel like they were leaning on us. They had the momentum. They had a lot of corners in the second half. They kind of leaned on us. Yep. And we took Odegaard and White off. We toppled over.
And then we just fell over.
Yep. We were like, and it was just like, and I was like,
I agree 100%.
Even when they were leaning on us and like they were getting all these corners, I'm like, okay, like definitely they have the momentum. Their away fans were loud. And I was like, yeah, but all we need is to just score or get like a good chance on net, and we'll be fine. And I believed it. And I like, yeah, things aren't going away. We're not playing well, but like, all you need is that one moment, and everything changes. Brought White off, put Odegaard off, and that was it. And then everything else was just.
I mean, the other thing too, is, and again, I am going to. I'm going to lay a lot of look. We always, in situations like this, we always look to assign blame. And I think it's natural as sports fans in general, your team loses, you look to assign blame. And we tend to try and find one, maybe 2 people. I will say that this is pretty much, I think, everyone, but I'm going to lay the bulk of the blame at Arteta's feet. I just don't. There's no rotation here. The only players that didn't start that had been starting were Jorginho and I guess Kivior. Really, when you think about it, everyone else was the same. So I'm not even sure I'm looking at it from a rotational standpoint. Martinelli's coming back from injury. So I think Arteta had one eye on Wednesday, and I just think he got it wrong. I just think today he got it wrong, and it's a bit of a catch. It's a bit of a catch-22 because I said before you got here, we scream on these shows about rotation and subs all the time. But I don't think this was rotation. I guess I can understand the not wanting to change 5 players at once.
It's so tough you have to balance. You have to keep the equilibrium, keep the homeostasis. It's like, do you keep them match fit? Do you keep them match sharp and like keep playing them? I get that, but then it's like, okay, but then also like you need to kind of rotate because you don't want injuries to happen and you don't want to overwork the players. So it's like, which is it? Like, is it door number 1 or number 2? And like, you have
That's
to.
why I said it's a catch-22.
Keeping that balance, I think, is so tough, and that's why like no one in chat, neither of us will really ever be managers at a high level as much as I want to be. It's just that balance is just so tough.
And I
And there's no to be honest, at the end of the day, for the most part, I'm saying I think there's some things you could do, but I don't think there's really any right answer. You could have set Odegaard, or you could have played Odegaard. He gets hurt. I don't know. It's just tough.
He has to get to a point where the players that are going to get a shirt, he trusts them. And even in a situation like this, you're a goal down, you go a goal down. I have to sneeze. Damn it, it's going to go away. No, it's
I'm going
not.
to say, if you have a sneeze, just read your Holmes Laundry as a manager. There you go. Manager level.
And these players have to play. And this business of bringing them on at 75 minutes and them getting 20 minutes under their belt, 20 minutes on their tires, it's not enough. And to do it once a month, it's not enough. You cannot simulate match speed in training. You just can't do it. And that's the biggest thing with him. And he doesn't have there's no plan B, as we've talked about. And we talked about, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Well, the City game. Plan B was to just sit back and defend. Well, okay, that works. It worked against City, but you can't. That's not going to work today. And you don't want to do that against Villa today, especially at home. So you got to have a different way of scoring goals if your system isn't working, and he doesn't have one. For that, he has a plan B for City. Just sit back and take it. I have no idea what he's going to do come Wednesday. I said to you, I don't know what goals gone wild, co-ed over 40s, indoor unbeaten.
I'm glad to see your.
It's his.
I was going to say,
yeah, I got it.
I remember him having a team when we were doing same old. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good. Glad you still had a Lone Star.
Yep. But see, Lone Star, so we didn't have the energy. How? And how did they look so sharp? So I
just think we just need to upgrade more, and I just think we had a bad no team is going to play their best every game. It's just
they barely rotated and played. They played Thursday. We had 4 days off. They had 2.
They definitely rotated, did they not?
Not much. Not from Thursday.
Because
now, I saw a lot of people talking about that. And I will say the one thing that I didn't see in terms of responses or replies to anything like that was I don't even remember who they played Thursday. And I believe they're in the Europa Conference.
Lille.
Okay. So
they didn't rotate a lot.
They're not. It's not the same as Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and I get that. But in terms of just sheer energy, you played, and you can say that. Well, Lille aren't Bayern Munich, so they didn't expend. They played. They ran for 90 minutes. They played a game. I just don't. So even the energy thing, it's like, did he work them too hard in training? Was there a recovery period that we just didn't have?
I don't think there's an answer. I think sometimes it's just like you.
No, right. It's one of those questions that just floats out into the ether and just kind of, it's just out there to marinate. So it's a deal, sir. Witnesses. I will Venmo you enough money to cover a pint and tip. I don't know what else you got.
Nothing. Like I said, I wasn't happy when we lost. Had my hands my face in my hands when they scored. I'm already thinking about Wednesday. I'm right.
Well,
I mean,
here's
again, to be fair, I am
to
flying
be
to
fair.
Chicago to watch the game, so I have that to worry about, and just
Really?
yeah, really. So yeah, no.
Really?
So I'm
That's crazy. I'm going to
that's
Chicago to
crazy.
watch the game too. We should try to
Yeah,
link up.
we should. But yeah, no. So like, I'm just so focused on that. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for Chicago. I'm ready. I'm ready for Bayern. I'm ready to have a good time with other Arsenal fans. Um, it sucks, but like I'm just so focused on that on Bayern, focused on the Wolves. Like it sucks, but I'm gonna get past it. Like I'm not. I'm not worried. Like I don't know. I just think like, and this is why I made a comment to you and I texted you and I said I'd rather lose the league to City than to Liverpool. Liverpool won this league. I'd be pissed. We lost it. We had every chance. Liverpool had so many injuries, and they could still win it, but as things stand, it's City's to lose. And but like now that
Wait,
City's like,
would you be pissed about losing the league to Liverpool because you think we're better than Liverpool?
I think we're better than
Or is
Liverpool.
it just you
Well,
hate
we're a lot like
Liverpool in general more than you hate City?
no. There's nothing new about hating clubs. I
Okay. See,
just
that's
think
where I was confused when you sent me
yeah,
that
we're
text. I'm
we're
like,
on the
wait a minute,
same
really?
trajectory as Liverpool. We do the same. We build our squad similarly to Liverpool, whereas City just like throw money at it and it just works. I mean, they make smart buys. Don't get me wrong, but they just throw money and they pay people obnoxious wages. You know, so like it's kind of hard to beat that. You know, and we talk about depth, and it's always going to be hard for us to compete with City with depth when you have players like Riyad Mahrez, Calvin Phillips before he got fat, obviously, um, who they paid them exorbitant amount of wages and they were
Yeah.
just on the bench. Jack Grealish on the bench. They have so many players on the bench, and we're never going to have a Jack Grealish on our bench. We're never going to have a Riyad Mahrez on our bench. We're never going to have Calvin Phillips before he got fat on our bench. It's just because the reason why these players are on the bench is because, yeah, it's City, but like Calvin Phillips was getting paid more than, I would say, more than half our team now.
Yeah.
Same with Riyad Mahrez. Same with Grealish. Their wages are way more than anybody on our team, or mostly anybody on the team. So if we want to compete with City with depth, and we want to have a Riyad Mahrez on our bench, we want to have a Grealish on our bench, we want to have Calvin Phillips before he got fat on our bench. And for argument's sake, before Aguero, Jesus on this City bench, we got to pay him out the ass. We got to pay all these players way too much money. And then it's like, well, and everyone complains that we paid Ozil too much, we paid Obama too much, which we did. We paid Lacazette. We did. I'm not saying we didn't. Or like Socrates, Luis, like we were in that like back-to-back 8th place and obscurity. We did. We did overpay those two players. But the way we get depth to beat City and be almost a shoo-in for the quarterfinals of Champions League minimum, and to be top 2 Premier League every season, we need to do that, which we won't do. It's not possible. Our money that we bring in and the way we spend, it's not possible. So that's why I kind of look at these games and I'm just like, we're never going to be that, and it sucks because like that's what we need. We need depth. We need all these things, but it's like we're not going to pay Riyad Mahrez to sit on our bench for
but I also think
six digits.
I think the hope there is also that you would develop those players. So you're not having to go out and buy them all. Look, okay, Phil Foden, right? So Phil Foden's an academy guy.
He's another player too. He has lately, but there's games he doesn't start. It's like
and look, your best players aren't going to start every game, especially when you're at this level, right? You're a Bournemouth, you're a Luton Town, you're a Crystal Palace, you're a Brentford, you're a Brighton. your best players should be starting most every game for you. Okay. You don't have the fixture congestion that City have, that Liverpool have, that Arsenal have, So those teams, their best players should be starting by and large most every game for them, But for us, for City, yeah, we need rotation and we need those players on our bench. But other than Phil Foden, I can't think of another player that is in City's best 18. That's not true. Akanji, I think, came through their academy. And there might be one other player. And his name's on the tip of my tongue. And if somebody said it.
Bob and Rico Lewis.
Rico Lewis. That's it. It's
but
Rico Lewis.
But Bob is like never, like he sees the field of if they're like killing it. Rico Lewis, he's right.
young, but he's young.
He's young,
But three players, okay, 3 players that came through their academy that are getting not even legitimate minutes. Phil Foden really is the only guy. Akanji comes on, gets the random start against Luton, which I don't think he started, but just as an example. But the hope there is that while they're just going to be the Yankees and they're just going to buy the trophy, we're not going to do that. We're going to be we can't. And we're going to go the route of the Baltimore Orioles, and we're going to develop players, and those are the players that we're going to bring up and that are going to get on the bench. But then they have to get match time. And that's where the Arteta thing, what I'm saying is that's where he's missing the mark, in my opinion, a little bit, because he just won't play some of those players. Now, we don't really have the Reece Nelsons. Okay. Other than today, when was the last time Eddie came on?
And that's another thing. He hasn't been playing much.
Yeah. Right. ESR prior to, who did he start against just recently?
Is it crazy? Already for Sheffield?
No,
it was one of the teams that are getting relegated.
Was it?
No,
Brentford?
It's Luton. It was Luton at home.
Luton at home. Yeah. So before that, what other playing time had he really gotten? He wasn't even getting playing time. So for us, it's not going to be about now. What we have to do is, okay, who are our best players? And then we look at the players that are behind them and say, can we upgrade on them? And if we can, is it an upgrade over whoever is in front of them? So it's basically just look at your depth chart and figure out if there's a player out there that is better than what you have somewhere that you can bring in. Do you have a player in your academy that is an up and coming, that has that potential? The coaching staff sees potential in that player. This is the difference between a manager and a coach. I don't see Pep. This is why I will die on this hill. I've always said that Jurgen Klopp is a better coach than Pep. Everywhere Pep has been, they just buy players. He just has to manage them. He's not coaching them, just has to manage them. That's it. The system works, and that's great, but he's buying the best players in the world. What Arteta has to do, and Arteta was a coach under Pep, he has to coach up some of these players. But he also has to manage them, and he has to give them playing time. So I think that is it. We're at almost 2 hours, and it has been therapeutic. Londar, you want positivity. Here's the positivity I'm going to give you if you're still with us. If we can beat Bayern on Wednesday, our destiny is not in our own hands. But if we can beat Bayern on Wednesday, I think we have an opportunity to go on a really good run to finish the season, at least in the league. I do not think we are at a point where we're going to beat either City or Madrid in a two-legged tie. I just don't see that. But beat Bayern, and I think that sets us up very nicely with some momentum and some more confidence to go forward and do the job at Wolves, build confidence, handle Chelsea at home. That's a big one, obviously. London rival. And then we go to the North London derby after Chelsea. So positivity,
really
and what's that?
I keep going back and forth, but like I really want City in the semis if we get there, obviously. But I know you don't like our chances. I do. I like our.
I don't like our chances against either one. I'll tell you this.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll say this. I like our chances against City more than I like them against Madrid.
Yeah,
there's familiarity. There's familiarity there. Yeah, it's exactly, and that's why these games are so entertaining, because you don't know. You don't see them week in, week out. So the scouting has to be, top notch. I think I can't believe City did at the Bernabeu what they did. I can't believe they scored 3.
I don't think Madrid's defense is
defense is not, but
great. Like that's why, like I'm not surprised. Like I'm worried. Madrid's attack and midfield is the concern I have. They're back 4. We can
but
them. I'm not worried.
Well, and we're gonna do a whole other show here. We're gonna go.
No, we're done. I have one more thing to say, and I'm done. I'm not talking. I'm literally
just about that strength on strength. Their midfield and attack against our defense.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We'll leave it at that.
Well,
the last thing I'm going to say is, and this is Lone Star, the shows are better when you're around. I'm upset that you're never here when we go on earlier, but and this will be my headline, because we're probably not going to have a show Monday or Tuesday. But my headline is simple: until mathematically it's over, I ain't giving in. That's it.
All right.
Done.
Lone Star BX. Thanks for being out there. Good interaction. The Frenchican name. Oh, that's on Twitter. Fantastic. I finally got a comment on Twitter. Our Twitter numbers are insane. I finally got a comment. The Frenchican. That's a good one. Gary was in there as well. There were a few other names. Tony was in there. Obviously I recognize his name. There was another name in here that I didn't recognize, but I cannot scroll up far enough to get to it. But anyway, thank you everybody watching on YouTube. If you didn't already, please leave a thumbs up on the video. Please give us a like. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. That way, if you're on YouTube, you never miss an episode. You'll get an alert. If you're watching on Twitter, X, thank you very much for that as well. You guys are incredible. Live views going out to Twitter are off the charts. So thank you guys very much for that. If you're watching on replay and you made it this far, thank you very much for that as well. Yeah, we're off to Munich on Wednesday. Ryan and I are meeting up in Chicago. Follow the socials there at the Bearded Gooner on Twitter, at Arse Ryan, which he has right there for you. You can also follow the Bearded Gooner on Instagram if you would like. There will certainly be pictures. There will be debauchery. There will be beers. There will be shots. There will be some good food and hopefully a lot of camaraderie. And better. I don't know. Is that Rumple Mints? Oh my God.
Yeah. No. I do. The first thing I'm going to ask at the bar is, do you guys have Rumple Mints? And that'll dictate my entire weekend. That's it.
All right. You know what? Fine. We'll start it off with a shot.
Just
I don't know.
I'm not asking a just drink Rumple Mints. Just a shot of Rumple Mints.
I don't know if I'm going to do Rumpy or not. I could do a shot of Rumpy. Fine. Let's go. Shot of Rumple Mints to start the festivities on Wednesday. You know what we should do? We should just start when we meet up at the airport, if that's what we're doing. Just find an airport.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay $40 for a shot of Rumple Mints.
I'll buy.
Yeah, okay.
I got it. I'll buy. Anyway, yeah, thank you, everyone. Once again, everybody in the chat, everybody watching on Twitter/X. Follow the socials. We'll have a lot of updates for you from Chicago. We're off to Germany. There's only one thing left to say. It's been good footy talk. We'll see you out there.